A vessel can be perfectly designed on day one and still fail years later, not from a bad calculation, but from steel quietly thinning away. UG-25 is the code's answer to that slow motion problem. Welcome back to ASME Section 8 Division 1 in 5 minutes. Season 2, Episode 3, Corrosion Allowance Strategy. UG-25 starts with a responsibility question, and the pattern should feel familiar. It's the user or the user's designated agent who specifies the corrosion allowance, not the vessel designer by default. And here's the part people miss: if you decide not to add any corrosion allowance at all, that's a legitimate choice, but it has to be stated explicitly on the data report. Silence isn't an option. Either a number is specified, or the absence of one is documented on the record. The actual requirement is simple in concept. For anything subject to thinning from corrosion, erosion, or mechanical abrasion, you provide for the vessel's desired life one of two ways. Either add thickness beyond what the pressure design formula alone requires, or use some other suitable protection method, a corrosion-resistant lining, for instance. The code doesn't mandate the extra thickness route specifically, it mandates that the life expectancy gets addressed, by whichever method actually solves the problem. This connects directly to Episode 2 of Season 1. Remember that MAWP gets calculated excluding any thickness specified as corrosion allowance. That's not a coincidence, it means your nameplate MAWP already reflects the vessel at its corroded, end-of-life condition, not its brand-new, full-thickness condition. The corrosion allowance you specify here in UG-25 is precisely the material MAWP assumes you'll eventually lose, and the vessel still has to be safe once it's gone. 2 flexibility points worth knowing. Corrosion allowance doesn't have to be uniform. Different zones can get different allowances if they're expected to corrode at different rates, like a vapor space versus a liquid-filled section. And it doesn't have to exist at all. If documented service experience shows corrosion simply doesn't occur, or is only superficial, no additional thickness is required. This is a service-driven decision, not a blanket rule. 2 practical tools worth knowing. Telltale holes, small holes drilled to about 8% of the required thickness on the far side from where corrosion is expected, start leaking as an early warning before the wall actually fails. They're explicitly banned in lethal service, for the obvious reason that even a small controlled leak isn't acceptable there. And any vessel subject to internal corrosion needs a drain opening at its lowest practical point, since standing liquid is exactly what accelerates localized corrosion in the first place. Quick recap: corrosion allowance is the user's call, documented either way. It's added as extra thickness or an alternative protection method, and it's exactly the material MAWP assumes you'll lose over the vessel's life. It doesn't have to be uniform, doesn't have to exist if experience says otherwise, and telltale holes or drains can help monitor it in the field. That's Season 2, Episode 3. Full walkthrough is linked below on WeldFab World. Subscribe. Episode 4 covers flange design basics.